Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today with sort of a whip and chat. It's not really a whip and chat. I'm not going to be talking about my life. I am still trying to finish this Josephine wall. I'm going to finish it before the end of May, if it's the last thing I do. I have 6 sections, well, 6.5 left. I'm currently working on this little section right here, and then I will be done, and I am determined that I'm going to finish it. I've still got a couple of days left. I'm going to work on it, but I thought I'd work on this while I talk to you about something else. So before I start talking, let me move things around a bit and zoom in so you can see where I'm working, and then we'll start talking about today's topic. Don't go anywhere. All right, hopefully you can see where everything is. Hopefully I can see what I'm working on. And before I get started, just a little note. I had someone ask me the other day why my canvas was not right side up. And the answer to that is because I have a limited amount of room, and what room I do have, I like to use to lay my diamond painting out flat. I don't like to roll my diamond paintings, and in fact with this one, because it's a double-sided adhesive, it's not advisable anyway because that can really mess up the adhesive. So I'm working on it laying flat, and because this is such a large diamond painting, I actually have this turned upside down so that I can work on it. That may drive some of you crazy, but it makes sense to me, so this is what I'm going to be doing. I have all of my drills set here, and I'm just going to dive in. What are we talking about today? Today, we're going to talk about 5 annoying things about diamond painting. Now, I made this list, and then after I made the initial list, I thought to myself, oh, well, I could add a whole bunch of things onto here. But I just picked out 5 things that were kind of my top 5 annoyances. I'm going to start with number 5. And we'll just work our way through the list while I work my way through this diamond painting. Annoying thing number 5 about diamond painting, for me, your opinions may be different, but for me, one of the things I find so annoying is when I'm out shopping for diamond paintings, especially on websites that have a lot of kits that don't give you the option to open the item in a new tab, because it seems like 90% of the time, if it's a website that has that many options, that many different kits, whatever the case may be, if you click on it, whatever the kit is, and then go look at it, when you come back out, you're back at the very beginning. I would rather click on whatever the item is, open it in a new tab, go over to that tab, look at what it is, see if it's something I want, and if it isn't, then I can go back to my original page without having to scroll through all of the items all over again. Admittedly, not every website is like that, but there are plenty that are, and it's really frustrating to have to go back to the beginning page, especially, like I said, when there's a ton of kits. I mean, some of the budget painting companies, they may have 3,000 kits listed. Well, I don't want to have to scroll through all 3,000 of them to find, maybe I was through 1,500 of them before I found one that I wanted to look at, but now I have to go all the way back through all of those pages. Just annoying. It's annoying, and I wish that all companies that have websites like that would allow you to right-click on the item and open it in a new tab. Plus, that way I can just go through, maybe this is just me, but I just open a bunch of tabs for items that I'm interested in, and then after I get through looking at everything, I'll go back through the tabs and decide, is this something I really want? Maybe this is something I want to save for later. Maybe I've just changed my mind, or I found something I liked better. So it would just be nice to be able to do that. Maybe these are my own personal pet peeves, kind of, but yeah, just things I find annoying. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 4, things that I find annoying. Why don't more diamond painting companies let you choose to not get a toolkit? I end up with so many of the green boats, the plastic pins, all the wax that I just don't use. And it just seems super wasteful. And while I can save them, and I do, and donate them to other places, I'll save them until I have quite a few, and then I've donated them to schools, for like people who want them for art supplies, that kind of thing, so that they don't just go to waste. But it just seems like an unending amount of plastic that gets thrown in the landfill unnecessarily. And I understand why many of them don't have the option, because the kits are manufactured elsewhere. It's easier to include it for those people who are new to the hobby, don't have all the tools, that kind of thing. So I understand why they do it, but as someone who is a repeat customer and buys a lot of diamond paintings, it would just be nice to have the option. There are a few companies that offer the option. And again, I understand why some companies don't, because then they essentially have to have two product lines, one with the toolkit and one without, or they have to get the product shipped to them and then they personally have to go through and either add in a kit or not, which makes it more labor intensive, which makes it cost more. So I get it, but it's just annoying. I wish I had the option for most of the places that I buy from to not have to get a toolkit. All right, so that was annoying thing number 4. Because this kit is upside down and because these are some very strange symbols, I do what I usually do. My kit is upside down, so I'm going to turn my bottle cap upside down just so I can make sure that I'm orienting my drills, my symbols the right way, and I'm putting the correct drills on the correct symbols. I often think in a confetti heavy kit like this that probably some people wouldn't notice even if I did put them in the wrong place, but just for my own peace of mind to make sure that I'm doing it the right way, that's one of my little tricks. Because like I said, I don't like rolling my canvases, so. All right, so number 5 was websites that make me scroll. Number 4 was not being able to skip the toolkit. What's number 3? Number 3 that I find annoying is non-standard codes for AB drills. So if you're new to diamond painting, the color codes that are used in diamond painting are basically transferred over from embroidery floss, the DMC company, so we call them DMC codes. There are way less of them for diamond painting than there are for embroidery. Last I checked, there were 447 diamond painting colors. That's just colors. That doesn't include all the special drills, the ABs, and that kind of thing. When I first started diamond painting, ABs were really the only kind of special drills. Well, AB drills, that stands for Aurora Borealis. They are just regular drills that have an iridescent coating applied, like many of these, like this one here, and it just gives them an extra little bit of sheen. As you can see here, I have mine labeled. This is DMC 453, and these are AB drills. But many companies don't do it that way. Diamond Dots has their own codes for everything. They don't even use DMC codes. I don't know if it's a copyright thing, if there was a trademark thing and they thought they wouldn't be able to use the DMC codes. They have their own special codes for everything, ABs and whatever other drills they have. Many other companies besides Diamond Dots have basically come up with their own system. So for instance, Diamond Art Club has their own special codes. So rather than saying it's a 5200 AB, it will say it's code 141, which is a code that doesn't exist in DMC for diamond painting, so they've just made their own random codes. There are some codes for the crystal rhinestones. They have their own set of codes, and there's a set of codes for special shaped drills. But most people just use the DMCs and then say AB on it. When I first started diamond painting, the only special drills were really ABs. There were crystals and special drills, but nobody was paying very much attention to those. Fast forward several years, and now we have things like glow-in-the-dark drills, we have glitter drills, we have fairy dust drills, which are drills with mica powder on them, we have jelly drills, we have metallic drills. There's just all different kinds of things, and it seems like every company has come up with their own code for whatever it is. So like, for instance, for Diamond Art Club, if it's a fairy dust drill, it has a Z attached to the DMC code. makes sense. They're still using the DMC and just the Z to signify that it's fairy dust. But then I'm back to, well, why didn't they do that with ABs? ABs have their own codes that they made up. Why didn't they just make up their own codes for the fairy dust? Don't know. Orloa does the same thing. I just opened some kits from them that had some fairy dust drills in them, and they append ND to the end of the drill DMC code. So yeah, I wish they just were all, it would just make it easier if they were all consistent across the board, rather than having to try and maintain all these conversion charts and everything for people to try and figure out, oh, this is that, or this is this, or I can use that one. It's just confusing, I think, and confusing unnecessarily. But I'm not in charge, so yeah, just something I find annoying. All right, what's number 2? You guys, I forgot to start my timer for this. Oh my goodness. All right, well, let me at least start my timer for this so I can be paying attention for some of this. So number 2, what's number 2 on my top 5 annoying things about diamond painting? Number 2 is not having a standard size for pins and pin tips. Nothing is more annoying / frustrating than waiting forever to get a new pin, whether you ordered a custom one or whatever, or getting some new tips. For example, if you buy the steel tips like I do to put the all-in-one tips on your single placers, or whether you buy multi-placers from wherever. I've bought them from many different places, and it's not usually a problem. I think there actually is a standard size. I mean, obviously there's a size that the pink pins are made from, and you would think that most tips would be made to fit on those. But unfortunately, it is a game of millimeters, probably sometimes less, and not every tip will fit every pin exactly. Especially if you're buying a custom pin, they may turn it to what they think is a consistent size, but it really isn't when you try to stick a tip in it. Or maybe they have a batch of tips that they've dry fit and it fits for them just fine, and then it doesn't quite fit with whatever tips you have. I don't know if that's weather factors, something to do with the kind of pin, the type of tips, whatever it is, but it's just annoying. Now, yes, there are plenty of ways to work around that issue. I've seen people say they put hot glue in there. I've seen people say they put plumber's tape in it. I've seen people say they use washi tape. I've used washi tape in this particular pin. I don't know if you can see it, but right there you can see some green. I put washi tape around this tip straightener because it didn't fit tightly in that pin. Some do, some don't. It just seems kind of hit or miss, and that can be frustrating. I know that some of the companies have tried to come out with ways to combat that. There have been on the market for quite a while pins with tips that screw in, and you can get them as a set, so you're guaranteed that those tips are going to fit. But a lot of those are from like budget companies, and they are the multi-placers that I don't particularly like. So I don't have a lot of those. I've tried some of them. I know Diamond Art Club has gone to making some of the ones that screw in, but I don't always want to buy my pin from the same place that I get my tips. Sometimes a place just has some really cool pins that I want to get, and I want to pay for that custom pin rather than buying one from wherever I happen to be getting the diamond painting tip. So yeah, it would just be, it'd be nice if they just all worked together seamlessly. A girl can hope. So that was number 2. I wish there was like a standard size so there was kind of a guarantee that the tips weren't going to work. And you know, none of these are end of the world going to keep me from diamond painting things. They're just things I find annoying. And what's my number 1 annoyance? My number 1 diamond painting annoyance is symbols that are too hard to tell apart. Because I'm old, my eyes are old, and it can be super frustrating. And I thought this would be a really good kit to kind of share that idea with, not because these symbols are not necessarily clear. I've seen all kinds of horror stories, pictures on the internet of like companies using an uppercase letter and then a lowercase letter, for instance, like Y. Uppercase and lowercase y's look almost the same. Z's, uppercase and lowercase z's look pretty much the same. So you might be able to tell the difference on the legend or the schematic, but once you shrink it down to put it on the canvas so that it fits on the canvas, it just doesn't work. So for instance, let me just grab some of these here, and I'm just going to set them here. These are just a few of the triangle options I have with this particular kit. And again, while they seem fairly clear on the stickers, once you shrink them down, it's really hard to tell them apart. For instance, this triangle is not filled in, it's just a black outline, but it can be super hard to tell the difference between the two of these when you shrink them down to 2 millimeters to put them on the canvas and see what they are. Some of them are fairly clear, like this one is a lighter color, so it's easier to tell. But this one, it's a dark purple background with a black triangle. This one can be nearly impossible to see on here. So it's just a matter of kind of figuring out how it's supposed to work. And like I said, these are not even the worst examples that I've seen. There are some that are much, much worse. I was trying to think if there could be, oh, these. So here we've got all of these little kind of right angles with dots, without dots. Some of them are like U-shaped. But especially as I'm rotating my canvas around, it's like, okay, is it this one? Is it this one? Because these are the same, but one is upside down. So which one do I actually need? And yes, could I save myself some headache by not rotating my canvas? I could. But like I said, especially with double-sided adhesive, this canvas is over 100 centimeters or right at 100 centimeters. So I don't want to roll it because it's double-sided adhesive. It's super large. So just finding an edge of a table where I can work at it and I don't feel like I have to kind of stretch to the middle of the canvas because I don't want to keep laying my arm on the drills and whatnot. Yeah, can just be super, super frustrating. So those are my top 5 annoyances. Do you guys have anything that you find annoying about diamond painting? Leave me a comment down below and let me know if I touched on anything that you agree with that drives you crazy, or if I completely missed something that absolutely drives you bonkers when you are diamond painting, what that might be. I have lots of other things, like I said, when I started making this list that I could have included. Things like the explosion of AI art and how so much of it looks exactly the same. I could have talked about how much I dislike pre-orders because I'm impatient and I don't like to wait. I could have discussed how frustrating it is to run out of drills, especially if you're new to the hobby and you don't have a stash of backup drills to go to just in case. I could talk about how annoying it is when you are kitting up a kit and it is nothing but static and your drills are jumping everywhere. Lots and lots of things that could have made the list, but I wanted to narrow it kind of down to a top 5. I felt like if I did more than that, it might be a little bit overwhelming. Plus, I didn't want it to just turn into a gripe session about diamond painting. I mean, I love diamond painting. It's done so much for me. Personally, it's a hobby that I really, really enjoy and I look forward to enjoying for many years to come. But just like anything else, there are times that you just wish things were done a little bit differently. So yeah, don't be afraid to share in the comments and let me know what things I might have missed, like I said, that you find annoying. Maybe it's something that you find annoying that others wouldn't. For example, apparently it annoys some people that I rotate my canvases, but it is how I'm most comfortable working, so that's what I'm going to do. But everybody's situation is different, right? I am going to, in spite of all of these crazy symbols, because this kit has 275 colors, I'm so close to being done, I'm going to continue to work on it. Let me zoom out here. You can see I didn't make a ton of progress, but I actually have some multi-placing in a few places, which is very unusual for this kit. I'm hoping that continues through the rest of the sections I have to finish. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that, and don't forget to hit the bell because, like I said, I'm bound and determined that I'm going to finish this, and maybe I'll have a post-completion review here shortly. Also, if you are new to the channel, I will be hosting my annual DP for Pets diamond painting event. That starts on June 1st. I will stick a link to the entry form down below so that you can fill that out if you're interested. It runs for the month of June, a pets theme. I'll throw the little info card up on the screen there so you can see it. Would love to have you join in the event. There are some pretty nice prizes, if I do say so myself, and I'm going to be doing weekly drawings as well, so if you're interested in that. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.